Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, for 1 year as we read through St. Faustina's diary. Join me, Amy Thomas, each day for a short reading out of the diary which brought us a deeper understanding of Christ's divine mercy. Hello, Catholic pilgrims, and welcome to day 292 of our readings from St. Faustina's diary. So, it's the new year, 1938. Where were you in 1938? This was a bit before my time, though I did have some grandparents that were alive at that point. But gosh, if any of you are listening that were alive in 1938, I would love to hear from you. I'm sure life was incredibly different at that time, and it would just be amazing to hear from you. So a person born in 1938 would be 83 now, which is good long life. But obviously, if you were to remember it, you'd have to have been born a little bit before that. I do have one grandparent remaining with me, and she's 86, I want to say. So she was definitely born before 1938. I should ask her if she remembers anything. Not that many years before 1938, but I wonder if she does. Anyway, we are in a new year with Sister Faustina. And if you think back all the way to the beginning, we really started on our journey with Sister Faustina around the year 1926. So we've been with her for a long while now, and she's grown a lot. Our readings today are going to be from Notebook 5, numbers 1449 through 1452. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. The year 1938, the 1st of January. Welcome to you, New Year, in the course of which my perfection will be accomplished. Thank you in advance, O Lord, for everything your goodness will send me. Thank you for the cup of suffering from which I shall daily drink. Do not diminish its bitterness, O Lord, but strengthen my lips, that while drinking of this bitterness, they may know how to smile for love of you, my Master. I thank you for your countless comforts and graces that flow down upon me each day like the morning dew, silently, imperceptibly, which no curious eye may notice, and which are known only to you and me, O Lord. For all this, I thank you as of today, because at the moment when you hand me the cup, my heart may not be capable of giving thanks. So today I submit myself completely and with loving consent to your holy will, O Lord, and to your most wise decrees, which are always full of clemency and mercy for me, though at times I can neither understand nor fathom them. O my Master, I surrender myself completely to you, who are the rudder of my soul. Steer it yourself according to your divine wishes. I enclose myself in your most compassionate heart, which is a sea of unfathomable mercy. I am ending the old year with suffering and beginning the new one with suffering as well. 2 days before the new year, I had to go to bed. I was feeling very bad, and a violent cough was weakening me. And together with this, a constant pain in my intestines and nausea had brought me to the point of exhaustion. Although I could not join in community prayer, I united myself spiritually with the whole community. When the sisters got up at 11 o'clock at night to keep vigil and welcome the new year, I had been writhing in agony since nightfall, and this lasted until midnight. I was uniting my sufferings to the prayers of the sisters who were keeping vigil in the chapel and atoning to God for the offenses of sinners. When the clock struck 12, my soul immersed itself more deeply in recollection, and I heard a voice in my soul. Do not fear, my little child. You are not alone. Fight bravely, because my arm is supporting you. Fight for the salvation of souls, exhorting them to trust in my mercy, as that is your task in this life and in the life to come. After these words, I received a deeper understanding of divine mercy. Only that soul who wants it will be damned, for God condemns no one. The last sentence of our readings today might be a little confusing. I had to read it a couple of times to fully get what she was saying, because I was dragging it over from the sentence before. So when she says only that soul who wants it will be damned, it sort of sounds like she's talking about divine mercy. Only that soul who wants divine mercy will be damned. What she's meaning there is only that soul who wants to go to hell or to be not united with God will be damned. That's what she's referring to. It was a little confusing there at first, and then I kind of got what she was trying to say. So I was on the social media the other day, and I belong to a page that I was following. It's kind of a Catholic page, but there are some non-Catholics in there. And a woman in there was having a discussion, and she was upset by a religion test that her child was taking. It was first grader religion test. She obviously homeschools. And the test said something to the effect of, how do we get to heaven? Or, no, it was, if we follow the 10 Commandments, will we get to heaven? And she took issue with this question. She didn't like it. And she's like, does anybody else see a problem with this? And a lot of people were like, no, it's a first grader question. I mean, I can see why maybe you're, a little put off by it. Just if you were thinking of older people and how they would answer and things like that. And she's like, well, it doesn't say anything about Jesus. The way we get to heaven is Jesus. And, some people were like, well, yeah, it's again, a first grader question. You got to start somewhere, build off of that. As you go down the line, subsequent years, you add a little more and add a little more. And, grace is a hard thing for kids to fully wrap their minds around and things like that. But the 10 Commandments are a good place to start, because in first grade, kids are just coming to understand the reality that there is a right and there is a wrong, and there's a way we should behave and there's a way we should not behave. Anyway, it got into a big old discussion, and people were kind of upset with each other. And one lady mentioned that she teaches CCD class, and that a lot of times when she says, how do we get to heaven? Several kids will say, be good. And she was a little irritated by that. And other people were like, no, the way to heaven is Jesus. And that's all that we have to talk about. And I was just kind of sitting back watching this conversation unfold. I didn't add anything, but there was enough being said. But I thought it was a good opportunity to talk about this. I would agree kind of with everybody. And I think everybody was trying to get around to the same conclusion. They just were arguing about it. The way to heaven is Jesus. We can't just say that and then walk away from the discussion, right? It's a little more nuanced than that. And we can't teach our kids that the way to heaven is just to be good, because many an atheist has said, well, I'm a good person, so should I get to go to heaven? Well, it's a little more complicated than that as well. So what is the answer here? I think if we look, as we've been going through this diary with Sister Faustina, the answer is a little more full and rich than just how we get to heaven. We get to heaven by Jesus. Yes, that is the actual answer. But if you were to try to say that to somebody who is not Christian and doesn't really get what you're saying, that doesn't tell me a whole lot, right? So, yes, Christ opened the door by taking on our sins and offering up his life as a sacrifice. He opened up the door to heaven. He is the way. He is, the reason why the gates of heaven were opened and that we are allowed the opportunity to go to heaven. Just basic belief in Jesus is not enough, because as you've all heard, the devil believes in Jesus. He knows he's there, and he acknowledges that he is God. We saw that a lot in the Bible. So just belief in Jesus is not enough. There has to be more. There has to be an understanding of our role as a follower of Christ. And it can't just be a passive role. It can't just be, well, I believe in Jesus and that's all I need to do. And that will get me to heaven. Because that is a way that has trapped a lot of people. There are Protestant groups out there that think, man is corrupt and there's absolutely nothing he can do to save himself. There's absolutely nothing he can do to better his life. He's always going to be a sinner. Believe in Jesus and you're good to go. Well, in one part of that, yes, we have a fallen nature. Yes, we are all sinners. Yes, there's nothing we can do on our own to save ourselves. We do need Christ. However, the appropriate response to Christ's sacrifice is to try to be more Christ-like. God has laid out a path for us to follow in order to be more Christ-like. And it's kind of a base level set of rules. The 10 Commandments, those are the foundational laws that God set down. I am your only God. There shall be no other gods before me. Honor your mother and father. Keep holy the Sabbath. Don't murder. Don't steal. Don't lie. All those things. I know I didn't say them in order. I'm just rattling them off. Those things are all good and we should follow all of them. And then we need to go a little bit further. We see that when the young man comes to Christ and says, "How do I get into heaven?" And Jesus says, "Follow the 10 Commandments." And the guy says, "Yes, I have been doing that since, I was a young man. I have been following them. I've been a good person." And then Christ says, "Okay, go sell all of your things and come and follow me." And the guy's like, "Oh, I can't do that." And so he walks away. So Christ even is showing us that, yes, he follow the 10 Commandments. That's one of the ways to get into heaven. And then the guy's like, "Yes, I am doing that." And then Christ invites him to go even deeper. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to do that. And so that shows us that there's more there. There's more for us to do past the 10 Commandments. And what it is just giving our lives more and more to Christ. Sister Faustina here today, she says, "So today I submit myself completely and with loving consent to your holy will." That's the deeper. That's what Jesus was asking that young man to do. Submit to me. Come and follow me and live out my holy will. Surrender your life. Give it over to me and come and follow me. And I will show you things that you've never dreamed possible. There's also the element of suffering as well within our Christian life. Sister Faustina is suffering a lot, and she unites that suffering to Christ through prayers, and she offers it up for sinners. She says here, "I was uniting my sufferings to the prayers of the sisters who were keeping vigil in the chapel and atoning to God for the offenses of sinners." And so that's another aspect of it. So I fear that there's this, this false dichotomy that we set up. It's either be good, just follow the 10 Commandments, or just Jesus, that's all you need. But I think there's a richness and a fullness in between those two options that we have to explore. Ultimately, yes, we get to heaven because of Christ. But in there, in between the just be good and all you need is Jesus, you don't need anything else, you don't need to do anything else, is all the graces that we receive from Christ through the sacraments. The mercy that we can come and receive from Christ to be healed. All of the spiritual and corporal works of mercy that we can do that show our love of God by loving others. All of those things help us get to heaven. All of those things, when we ask God to be a part of our pilgrim journey here on earth and invite him in and ask him for the graces to be able to do all of these things, that's how we get there, through Jesus helping us. So that is all for today, Catholic Pilgrims. I will see you back here for day 293. And until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.